What's up, guys? I'm Mike from StockedUp, and welcome back to the Stocks with Mike and Tom show. We have a ton of information to go over in today's episode. The market is about to go crazy. We have an FOMC meeting tomorrow, and we have a lot of stocks making some huge moves. Tesla had a huge move to the upside today, up about 7% at close. They actually ran up a lot higher. And we also have a $60 million option that we're going to be going over at the end of this video. We had Apple fall off towards the end of the day. So there's a lot of interesting price movement that we saw in the market today that we're going to be analyzing and going over in this video. So make sure you stick around to the end of the episode. And if you guys aren't subscribed already, don't forget to subscribe to see our daily videos on our YouTube homepage every single day. But let's get right into it. So Tom, what major news happened in the market today?
The big news today was really Apple's announcement. They weren't going to reveal much about their phones and that they were actually going to have to kind of delay their iPhone 12s, which wasn't too good to hear. And you can see that Apple kind of did end up falling, after this meeting or after this event happened. But they really announced a lot of other great things with their other products. They announced some stuff with the Apple Watches. They have some really cheap iPads that they're bringing out, which are awesome. A new iPad Air. And then plus they're going to be integrating Apple's Fitness Plus workout services, which that'll link the Apple Watch that you wear around your wrist, and it'll actually track your heartbeat and keep track of a whole bunch of different stuff like calories and distance traveled and strain, and it'll track your sleep and a whole bunch of different type of stuff. It can tell you like how many times you've woken up, and really it can just help you with your fitness overall. But something interesting about this is that me and Mike were talking about how Peloton actually got killed in the middle of the day once Apple started announcing all these fitness programs for their watch that they were coming out with, and this new Fitness Plus subscription service.
True. So yeah, Apple is kind of competing with PTON. As most of you guys already probably know, is PTON is kind of like the at-home like workout app kind of thing. It's like a subscription model, and it gives you like workouts to do at home, right? And they really benefited from the COVID pandemic because people haven't been going to gyms as much, and gyms were closed down. So PTON really benefited off of that, and their stock price is exploding. In the past 6 months, they went from about $18 all the way up to about $98. So they're really exploding, and Apple is kind of competing with them that they announced today. So they had a showcase today, an event pretty much where they show all the cool things that they're working on and what Apple has in stock for the future. And one of those new releases was like their Fitness Plus program. It's also going to be a subscription service, and it's kind of going to be like PTON, where it like gives you like workouts, and then you can track your workouts with your watch, and like everything's all integrated, and it's a pretty cool system. So that is why PTON fell in the middle of the day. So yeah, that's very interesting to notice. And then Apple actually ended up falling too, because they didn't even mention anything about their the new iPhone.
Yeah, I was really looking for them to give us some information or some specs or something interesting about the iPhone, but they just totally delayed it, which I mean I could see them doing that right now because there's a lot of stuff going on, obviously, and the way their stock's going, how it's been falling the past few days, maybe they're honestly trying to wait until their stock falls a little further to actually announce this, because maybe they're trying to strategically, announce this at a time where their stock is down so that they can kind of boost it back up.
I mean, Apple stock has just been exploding for the past couple of years, and especially this year. They just had that 4-for-1 split recently too. So I'm sure there's some strategy behind them waiting, waiting on the new release or the new showcase of the new iPhone. I'm not sure exactly why, but Apple's definitely a smart company, and they're led by Tim Cook, which is a very smart and strategic CEO. So I'm sure we'll definitely hear some news about it in the short future. So what other major news happened in the market today?
Yeah, not really too much other news today. There was some other smaller stuff, but the biggest stuff to look out for is going to be the news that's coming out tomorrow. CNBC actually reports that the Fed could still move the markets Wednesday, even with the rates on hold for the foreseeable future. And while they are committed to keeping interest rates low for the next several years, the Federal Reserve still has plenty of work to do as it steers the U.S. economy through the pandemic. The FOMC will provide their quarterly update on where they see the GDP, unemployment, and inflation heading, and they'll also take up the issue of whether it should provide clearer guidance on what it will take to raise the rates in the future, and it could switch its bond buying strategy to go beyond supporting market functioning to one that backstops the broader economy as well. And the press conference is going to be tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern time. So this is going to be a big thing for the markets, and this could really move it. I know that they're not going to be changing rates, but whenever they're talking about changing strategies and where they see GDP and inflation going, I think that could definitely, impact the markets, especially with how they said they might actually start raising inflation. So, like if they're predicting inflation, to go through the roof, that might be not too good for the economy in the short term, anyways.
Yeah, so I'm sure a lot of you guys just listened to what Tom said, and you're probably, thinking, what is the FOMC? What's going on tomorrow? And I'm sure you're probably confused. So, guys, the FOMC is a meeting that happens every couple months. Pretty much what happens is the chairman of the Federal Reserve, which is Jerome Powell, he comes out, he speaks for about an hour or 2 hours, and he talks about the economy. He talks about in recent events, he talks about the stimulus programs. He talks about GDP, unemployment, inflation levels. He just talks about, where the Fed sees the economy, he explains what the Fed is doing with the current economy. So for example, back in March where the economy was kind of falling down because the economy was shut down, they obviously realized that, and then they lowered interest rates to help stimulate the economy. So pretty much what's happening tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern time is the chairman of the Federal Reserve, Jerome Powell, will be speaking live. You can watch this on YouTube about, what he sees in the economy right now and what the Federal Reserve's actions will be, in reaction to the data that they are observing. So, they can lower interest rates, they can rise interest rates, they can, they can lower them, raise them, they can, they have
the bonds and stuff.
Yeah, they can, buy bonds. There's a lot of different options for them. But the biggest thing to notice, or the biggest thing to pay attention to, is that the FOMC meeting historically can move the markets big to the upside and the downside. So sometimes the FOMC meeting literally has, pretty much no impact on the market for the short term. But sometimes the FOMC meeting really has a big influence to the upside or the downside. So there's no way to tell what the FOMC meeting is going to do for tomorrow. But I know a lot of people, including myself, will be watching the meeting live to see what, one, Jerome Powell says, but also two, to see how stocks react. So, like in the past, I like 2 years ago or 1 or 2 years ago, I remember when the Feds were raising interest rates and the market kind of tanked off of that. So, each meeting is different, but each meeting can definitely have, they can definitely move the market. So just watch out for that. It's happening at 2 p.m. Eastern time tomorrow. So now with our Discord member of the day, and today's Discord member of the day is Kreger. So Tom's going to pull up a post from earlier today. Tom, I'll let you showcase what we saw on the Profits channel today.
Yeah, Krager says the last 3 weeks have been spitting absolute fire. Stat modeling plus Tom's YOLO plays plus the bot is just printed money for him. Hashtag small account challenge. And whenever we look, it looks like he's up pretty good the past month. He's up 134% or $5,500, which is pretty good. And then he even posted a couple hours later that he hit his 3-month goal within the 2 months he's been with us, and he ended up breaking $10,000 on his account. So congratulations to Kragers. Great trading, especially in this type of market. It's been tough the past few months. So, congrats to you on getting that account up to 10,000.
Absolutely. And then on top of that, thank you, Kragers, for, always helping new people who are in the chat and, just sharing any guidance you have. So huge shout out to you. And thank you for everything you do for the Discord community. So if you guys want to trade some of the same plays that Kragers is trading, with the bot and the stat modeling plays, you can click the Stocked Up Options Alerts link in the description down below. But huge shout out to Kreger. So now for our momentum plays for tomorrow. And the first one, a lot of you guys can probably already guess, is Tesla. So Tesla, I had 2 big green days this week. And, Tesla is just one of those stocks where when it runs, it just keeps on going. So no one knows the top on Tesla, but it does have a lot of upwards momentum. What levels should we be watching?
Yeah, make it break 461.94. And I just saw a ton of guys in Discord today who played this, and they were actually pretty successful on Tesla to the upside this morning.
Yeah, for sure. So if it breaks around, we could call it the 462 level. If it breaks,
yeah, just 462. Yeah.
So if it breaks above 462, we will be eyeing this play to the upside. With the next play, we have Netflix.
Netflix. Yeah, they're kind of running in after hours a little bit. Make them break above 497.50.
All right, again to the upside. And last but not least, we have C, but this one is to the downside.
Make them fall below 44.50.
Yep, so if it breaks below the level Tom listed, we will be eyeing this play to the downside. All these plays are just intended to be quick in and out day trades, just, quick little momentum plays. So like, for example, if we see Tesla breaking the level Tom listed, there's a little bit more upside potential that can be taken advantage of for a quick day trade tomorrow. So keep that in mind. And now for the $61 million options trade for tomorrow, we are looking at the Tesla 500 strike call options that expire this Friday, September 18th. So there was about $61 million put into this play. I don't know. Tesla is just one of those stocks where when it runs, it just keeps on going. But at the same time, with the FOMC meeting tomorrow, and then Tesla, I don't want to say it had a weak close, but it definitely wasn't a strong close. I do not love Tesla for tomorrow, but at the same time, I'm not going to be like, yeah, I don't see it falling. You know what I mean? It's just like, it's kind of like one of those like iffy trades to me where, I don't love it to the upside or the downside because, it already had a pretty great week so far. It went from about $380 all the way up to about $460 in 2 days. And at the same time, the market was pretty flat. What do you think about Tesla?
Yeah, we're already up 20% in 2 days, like you said. But I think that with that battery announcement, I think that's the reason why it's really going up. I think a lot of people are seeing this, and there's been some stuff where Elon Musk has been kind of like beefing with people on Twitter, and there's been some stuff leaked where apparently the batteries are going to get a lot lighter and they're supposed to go like a lot further. And, a lot of people were saying, well, batteries are too heavy, and apparently they've really, like lighten the batteries up and stuff like that. Not saying that these leak things are true, but, obviously investors see that stuff and they like to buy in. But yeah, like you said, it's just up 20% in 2 days with a 500 strike on these calls. I'd have to think that they're longing this just because with that much money, it'd be hard to short a call on a stock like Tesla that's going up on this type of news.
But at the same time, though, it's almost $50 out of the money. Like, I would think that they're shorting it because, if you're going to
Tesla has almost moved $100, though, the past 2 days.
True. Just looking at the option that expires in 3 days and you're 50 strikes out of the money, who knows? They could just be, selling covered calls at the 500.
And that's way too much money, too. Like, that $61 million, like, if you were longing that, like you said, if that's longs, you'd have to be pretty crazy or you'd have to have billions of dollars in that account to do that.
Well, I think honestly, like after looking at it, I think it might just be like a covered call. You know what I mean? Because it could just be a huge win-win situation.
Well, that would make a lot more sense. Yeah.
So there's no way for us to know officially, but with the Tesla option, no one knows the top of Tesla, but it does have a ton of upwards momentum right now. So it can be a good day trade tomorrow, but I definitely wouldn't hold this overnight. It's
definitely don't go out tomorrow and spend, $5,000 on a Tesla call and hold it all week, please. We don't want to see that in the comments.
Don't do that. Yeah, Tesla is just one of those very volatile stocks. It's high risk, high reward. So we'll see what happens with it. So now for our comments from the previous episode. And we have Benawal saying, Great video as usual. Please do some analysis on Amazon and NVDA with some support and resistance levels. So, Tom, what are you seeing on Amazon and NVDA?
Yeah, I think Amazon has a pretty good support around the $3,100 level. Let me go out to a daily chart. But yeah, I really like them right around that $3,100 support. I'm not saying that they're going to fly up tomorrow, but they are also bouncing off of the trend line that I had posted from a while ago whenever they were in this little triangle over here. And you can see they are bouncing off of that, which is, good to see on a technical level for Amazon. I mean, I could see them going up over the next couple of days as well off of the green momentum that we had today. But I think a lot of it's going to have to do with what the market does tomorrow with that FOMC meeting. But obviously that's later in the afternoon. So in the morning, I think that this stock could have potential to go up. But over the long term, of course, I think Amazon's going to go up. And NVDA, I think they also look pretty green, but I don't think that this setup is quite as good as Amazon's setup personally. It seems like they're already pretty high. They did have a pullback as well, but they kind of also recovered more than Amazon has recovered over the past few days. So I think that if anything, I think the NVDA, could have a little, I think they're more prone to have a pullback tomorrow than Amazon is, but NVDA is more of one of those growth stocks, at least over the past year, than Amazon has been.
Yep. So personally, I'm just very neutral on NVDA. I don't see anything from the upside or the downside. With Amazon, they do have great support at 3,100, like Tom was saying. So, if we see like the market, just tank tomorrow or in the short-term future, that $3,100 level is pretty important. They bounce off that level a lot of times in the past. So if we break below that, that will not be a good sign. But right now, it's definitely holding that level pretty strong. So just keep an eye out for that. With the next comment, we have Z saying thoughts on ADBE, Adobe. So what do you think about Adobe?
Adobe, I love it for the long term. They have a ton of great technology, especially on the computer, and they had pretty good earnings today. I'm guessing that's why he was asking, was for the earnings, and it looks like they actually popped on these earnings, which was, kind of expected with a tech stock like Adobe, but their earnings were a lot better than usual. So obviously they're going to pop pretty large. They're sitting around $522. So they're getting back pretty close to that high. That pop in after hours today was pretty big, and it still might even go up right now while we're talking.
For sure. So then we have Stan saying, can you cover Big C? So BIGC.
I actually don't know too much about this stock, but I've heard a whole bunch of people talking about it in our Discord. Do you know what they do or anything?
Well, it looks like a recent IPO. I've actually heard a lot of people talking about this too. I see that back in August, it went from about $64 all the way up to $163. So I normally don't play stocks like this when they've only been trading for about a month. So I don't know. I mean, I don't really like this setup.
I'll say on an intraday level, though, I kind of like the way it's setting up for tomorrow anyways. Just for tomorrow, though, I'm not saying, over the long term or anything, but for tomorrow, I think if we can hold this level of like around $83, I think we'd be pretty good for tomorrow.
Yeah, I don't usually trade setups like this, so I really haven't done too much research on them fundamentally. So, what levels are you looking at for tomorrow?
Really, I think if it can hold $83 and then if it can break $85.50 to the upside, I really like it. I think it looks like it's just one of those stocks that obviously it's a stock that whenever it runs, it's going to run a lot. So it looks like it started running today. So, I mean, if it does run tomorrow morning and you see, like, for example, right on open today within the first 30 minutes, you saw two huge green candles on this 15-minute chart. If you see a huge green candle at open tomorrow on this and it's breaking the high of today or even, like $86, I think this stock could really fly tomorrow just given how much it tends to go up when it does go up.
For sure. So with that being said, do you have any last-minute stocks, options, or any other comments for tomorrow?
Yeah, I'm going to be watching the VXX tomorrow for sure. Once market closed today, you can just see it had a terrible red candle, and it seems like it's just going down. I know you were talking about VXX puts the other day being a good option, and I think that would have been a good way to go. Obviously, it went down, and I think VXX could continue to go down if obviously if the FOMC meeting goes well tomorrow and the market does recover slightly, then I think then VXX will go down. But either way, the VXX is going to move big one way or the other tomorrow if anything interesting does happen at that meeting. So towards the end of the day, just be watching the VXX because it could be one of those crazy runners that run 10 to 15% within an hour or two.
Yeah, but it all depends on what happens with the meeting. So
yeah, if the meeting, if they're really flat on the meeting and they're just neutral on the market and they don't really change anything for the foreseeable future, it probably won't affect the market at all. But in the past, if they change their outlook on inflation, or if they say the GDP is gonna be terrible or something like that, then obviously the market or VXX itself will move quite a bit.
For sure. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. Tom and I really appreciate all the support you guys give to the channel through the form of hitting that like button, commenting down below, and subscribing. So thank you guys so much for that. Comments really help grow the channel. Thank you guys so much for all the comments, the likes, and the new subscribers. We really appreciate it. If you guys want to try out the new options day trading bot that we showcased with Craigers today, you can click the Stocked Up Options Alerts link in the description down below. But as always, if you have any questions, let us know in the comments down below. Other than that, thanks for watching.